Observe the addict that lives in your house. They possess a peculiar ritual. They can often be seen putting a powdery crystal of nothing into their face hole. Scientists call this sugar. Now, when the human ingests the crystallized carb-sap, it doesn't just make the mouth feel good. No, it turns the brain into candy. That's okay. It just means questionable choices. But then, something really strange starts happening. The human starts vibrating. Their eyeballs take on an unusual look. Their heart starts tapping against their ribcage like a 2-click nubbin on a mechanical pencil. You know, click, 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 click. The little humans are even worse than the large hairy ones. They do something called bouncing off the walls. Literally. Uh-oh, don't look now. Something awful is about to happen. When the sweet good news energy wears off, they experience something called a sugar crash. And the brain parts start craving the flavour they never tasted. And at that very moment, the human is just left grieving for a fantasy of that sweetness. The human ends up in bed, questioning everything with a very uncomfortable tiny little squatter who has invaded the elaborate network of internal tubes and holes called sinuses.
Science.
Luckily, I don't have to worry about this unfortunate event. You see, I am an obligate carnivore, and as such, I crave only the savoury goodness of a dead mouse. Poor human, wasting their time making tiny little sugary square, completely devoid of any animal. You see, us cats lack a functional sweetness receptor. It is driven by a permanent genetic mutation, a massive deletion in the TAS1R2 gene. Felines can't produce the specific proteins needed to detect sweetness. Humans and many other mammals identify sweet tastes using a receptor made of 2 paired proteins. They are encoded by the TAS1R2 and TAS1R3 genes. Years ago, millions in fact, a 230 base pair stretch of that TAS1R2 gene was permanently deleted in the feline lineage. Apparently, we lack the building block required to taste sugar. Lack? That's funny. I'd say more like we have superior sense. Our palates evolved to detect savoury. Yours? Still living in the dark ages. Oh sure, some people will say, my cat likes sweet things. On the contrary, it is the fats, creamy textures, or savoury animal byproducts often present in those foods. You nitwit. So the human is left with a widening of the pelvis parts, basically a bony bracket designed to hold the fancy walk together. But because of the powdery sweet stuff, it has begun to expand like it decided to take the regular chassis and add some lateral reinforcement for the carry function. Us cats? We are left with a very sleek and slender physique with not a care in the world. Why? Because we have common sense, and because I don't trust that you do, I will say this once. Never give your cat sugary substances. You know what they are, chocolate, and you can look up the others. I'm sure your tiny brain can handle a Google search. I'll be on the rug.